Good morning. It's your boy Fanon. Got up this morning thinking about boxing, and I took a break off making videos yesterday. I just did a live stream because I thought, I want to leave this Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder situation alone because it's becoming painfully obvious that that these guys really don't want this fight. And pretty much that's the only logic I can make out of the majority of what they say. And by that I mean Anthony Joshua, I mean Eddie Hearn, and I mean the UK boxing fans that come to pages, come to comment sections, get on live streams and start talking as if, nobody that talks about Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn in a negative light, like anybody that says anything about them are absolute complete morons and can't read, don't understand anything. And so anyway, all I did is a live stream yesterday, and I wake up this morning and I see an article that says Joshua, 95% certain that Wilder fight will happen in 2018. And I think to myself, okay, here we go again, because there's all kind of reading. And this, I admit that I'm bad with this. I'm really bad with reading and listening to exactly what people say and thinking about what it means. And 95% certain that Wilder fight will happen in 2018 says two things to me. One, there's a good chance that the fight won't happen in 2018 because he didn't say it will happen. He said there's a 95% chance happen. I don't like round numbers. So when somebody says hit 95%, that's not a serious calculation. They're just saying, hey, I think that there's a good chance, a real good chance that it'll happen. And you're talking to people that, like the media, that want the fight to happen. Most of them anyway. So you're going to try to give them some encouragement. But the second part of it will happen in 2018, which means not next. More than likely, it won't happen next. That's how I read that. That's the thought that I get from it. But then, surprise on that, right? I knew that. But the killer in this is that he talked about, you can't offer me a buyout clause. And of course, my alarm bells go off. A buyout clause? You're not here to sell your belts. What? Are you what? I'm serious. I'd have no clue what he could mean by that. A buyout clause. He can't put a clause in that contract that says you're going to give me the belts no matter what happens. That's not possible, because the WBA, the WIBF, and the WBO, they're the ones that mandate and say who the champion is, who represents who the champion is. They award the belts. It's their belts. So what could you mean by you're not going to offer me a buyout clause? I'm not here to sell my belts. Let you take control of the event. That's not what I'm about. This guy doesn't think he can win, and he doesn't want to leave the UK to fight because this is the only reason that he could say this, is that because he will lose control over the judges and the refs and the crowd. He won't fight on the road, and he doesn't think he can win. How is this guy a champion? I know how he's a belt holder, but how is this guy a champion? Now, before I get into the rest of this, and I'll get into the details of it, I want to thank everybody that attended to the live stream yesterday. And thank you so much for donating to the cause for in the super chat and the Venmo and the Patreon. Thank you very much. You guys really do help support the cause. And that's the purpose of the channel being here. That's why we make the videos. So thank you very, very much. I truly, truly appreciate it. Also, we're gonna do one later this morning, and I hope that you accept my invitation to attend. For the people who aren't subscribed, the best way to take part in the live streams, which is really the best part of the channel, because that's where we have real-time conversations, real-time conversations with a lot of very knowledgeable boxing fans. It really is a lot of fun. There's a lot of joking and stuff going on in there, but for the most part, everybody really does love boxing and get along well. So I hope that you accept my invitation to attend the live stream. And the best way to do that is to hit the bell icon and subscribe, and then hit the bell icon to make sure that you get the notifications. Another way that you would be able to recognize when the live stream's happening is if you just go to your subscription page on occasion and just kind of go down, and you'll see for non-boxing or other channels, and you'll see a little speaker, like a little red speaker, which symbolizes that people are going live. So anyway, I hope that you accept my invitation to attend. Now, let me go through this article. And then I gave you a synopsis, but this is really, it's a bunch of foolishness. Anthony Joshua, 95% certain the Wilder fight will happen in 2018. British superstar Anthony Joshua is 95% certain a unification showdown with WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder will happen before the end of the year. The two heavyweights hold all the major belts between them, but despite talks taking place over a money spinning bout, a deal has yet to be finalized. A few weeks ago, Wilder posted a video offering his rival a guarantee of $50 million to face him, though Eddie Hearn, his promoter, branded the proposal as nothing more than a PR move, albeit he did accept it should be taken seriously. After Tony Bellew's victory over David Haye at the O2 Arena on Saturday night, Joshua declared himself optimistic about the negotiation process despite a disagreement over the location for the fight. Joshua feels very confident that a Wilder contest will happen at some point this year, but doesn't exactly state when it will happen next. The fight is going to happen 95% this year, the IBF, the IBO, WBA, and WBO title holder told Sky Sports Box Office. I'm really interested. You can't talk about finances anymore because I'm well aware there is a financial gain in this fight. So let's put that aside and look at the devil in the detail. You can't just offer me a buyout clause. I'm not here to sell my belts. Let you take control of the event. That's not what I'm about. Let's build this fight to its true potential. I want the fight in the UK, and they want it in America. We've got a long time to finalize it because it will potentially happen at the end of the year. That's in brackets. So that quote where it says potentially happen at the end of the year, that is not from Anthony Joshua. They filled that in. So he did not say it potentially will happen at the end of the year. We're working tirelessly on it. What a crock. Okay, if the contest does not take place, then Joshua would likely have to make a mandatory defense against Olympic gold medal winner Alexander Povetkin of Russia. All right. I don't think this guy can beat Deontay Wilder. I really don't. And I just think I don't think he wants this fight. I know Eddie Hearn doesn't want this fight. But now I'm pretty sure that Anthony Joshua doesn't want the fight. Anthony Joshua is the guy that asked for $50 million. But now $50 million, we know it's there, or we know that there's financial gain in this fight. So let's not talk about money. Let's look at the devil in the details. What details could there possibly be that would prompt him to say he's selling his belts? I've heard that used before, selling your belts. Usually when somebody says they're selling their belts, that means that they're getting in with somebody. They're getting in with somebody that they don't think that they can beat. They're selling their belts. That's the way that I've always heard it. He sold his belts for more money. Charles Martin decides to fight Anthony Joshua. There's more money in a fight with Anthony Joshua than there is with Deontay Wilder. So although he could have won, although Anthony Joshua didn't have a belt, he didn't fight Deontay Wilder. And I'm just coming up with a scenario which could be considered selling your belts. So instead of fighting Deontay Wilder and being able to taking a chance for less money, being able to take a chance to unify the IBF and the WBC, he fights Anthony Joshua, somebody else he can't beat, and he sells his belts because he took that fight instead of taking the one with Deontay Wilder for less money. That's how I hear the term "sell your belts." That's what I think about it. Maybe somebody in the comment section, I'm sure one of you guys from the UK who want to pretend like you're a boxing fan because you're interested in the hype movement being about Anthony Joshua that's being created. Probably ain't any older than 26 years old, are going to come up with some reason why him saying that he's selling his belts doesn't mean that he thinks he's going to lose if he doesn't fight in the UK. And why would he think he's going to lose if he's in the UK? If he's not in the UK? They're boxing gloves. They're not going to tell him he can't punch. They're not going to tell him he's just got to sit there and take punches to the head. Why wouldn't he be willing? Why wouldn't he be willing not to fight somewhere other than the UK? If that's what he means by sell your belts. No, I think what he means, that's foolishness. For $50 million, that's more, 38 million pounds or 36 million pounds. That's far more money than he's going to make in the UK for fighting anybody, for fighting Deontay Wilder, for fighting anybody. That's twice as much money as he can possibly make in the UK. And there's been talks of him coming to the United States and debuting against Jarrell Miller. Now, granted, those haven't come to fruition, but it seems as if his team is more than willing to come to the United States. But it's against Jarrell Miller. It's going to be for a lot less money. And it's going to be in a situation where the details are there, where you're not selling your belts. What could he possibly be talking about? A rematch clause? Even if you can't be talking about a rematch clause, because even a rematch clause isn't selling your belts. You're going to lose control of the event? Seriously, this dude he's gonna go. That's not a question. He's gonna go. He's not real. This dude is not real. No way. Nobody acts. I've never even thought. This dude is such a disappointment, man. He's such a disappointment. Who acts like this? What heavyweight champion acts like this? What boxer acts like this? Do you know Cecilia Brækhus? Cecilia Brækhus is somebody, the woman who fought on the HBO card, is somebody in a similar situation to him. She's fighting in Denmark, right? She's making a lot of money in Denmark. She's the biggest boxer, the biggest celebrity in Denmark. And she takes a pay cut. She's a welterweight champion, owns all the belts, is the only unified champion in all of boxing, owns all the belts. And in order to get on HBO, she comes to the United States and she fights somebody that's coming from 2 weight classes above her, and picked somebody in Reese that was going to be a big challenge for her, because she said that she wanted to make sure that the fight was worth the magnitude of the event. did not care about the money, took a pay cut to do it. Now, that's not an exact parallel, but that's a champion. Cecilia Brækhus is a champion. And that's why I was so excited to see that she would be on HBO. And I was like, man, this will be the first time an HBO card. I want to see this in high definition. I'm going to make sure that I watch this on HBO. I'm not going to stream it. There's no way that Jim Lampley can ruin my experience. I'm going to enjoy watching Cecilia Brækhus in this fight. And it got to be a very, very, very good fight. She wound up getting knocked down. She got up and she won the fight. Like a champion. And then immediately started talking. They started asking her about fighting this person, that person, the other person. Immediately started looking over there at Reese like, yeah, we've got to do this again. Definitely, we got to do this again. Like, look, hold on. You put me on you knocked me down. And I know you're over there thinking you won this fight. So we got to do it again. That's a fighter. That's a fighter's mentality. Anthony Joshua does not have a champion's mentality. He doesn't behave like one. He behaves like a corporate. He behaves like a corporate entity, not a boxing champion. There's somebody else, this is something somebody else said. My favorite champion, the guy just retired, Andre Ward. Andre Ward said, if there's anybody in my division that somebody is saying is better than me, I don't care what happens. It's not about the belt. It's not about the belts. They're going to have to prove to me. They're going to have to see me. If they're in my division and somebody says that they're better than me. That's not Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's, I need to see the devil in the details. Now, note, I don't have any issue with that. I don't have any issue with that statement. Because we already got past the money being there. Now nobody's saying anything about the money, right? He said, look, we don't have to talk about money. I know there's a lot of money there. Yeah, you know there's $50 million there. The $50 million you asked for. You're 20-0. You got your 8-fight plan. You got your plan that you're going to go. So what is that song he was playing when he came out to his fireworks? His fireworks and his AJ logo on in flames. You know, thinking of a master plan. Ain't nothing but Mike inside my hand, right? Yeah, you thinking of a master plan. You thinking how you can milk these UK fans without taking any risk. Just like Eddie Hearn said. Why would you take a major risk for just a little bit more money for 2 fights worth of money or 3 fights worth of money, really? Let's be real. More likely 3 fights worth of money, not 2. Because the money doesn't make sense. And you guys lie like fucking rugs. So since you lie so much, I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. When your word's not worth crap, nobody should be believed in anything that comes out of your mouth. Except for little things that you mention that might sound like they're reasonable. Imply or could allow you to understand, give you insight into what the guy's really thinking. Like, I'm not going to sell my soul for $50 million. Man, you're not going to sell your soul for $50 million. Do you know how many people in this world never, ever, ever? That's an insult to poor people. That's just a spit in the face to hungry people. Ain't nobody asked you to sell your soul for $50 million. They're asking you to keep your word about the $50 million that you asked for yourself. You're not selling your soul for $50 million. Your belts aren't your soul. So you're not selling your soul. You're not selling your belts. You're getting in the ring for a price tag that you put on yourself to defend belts that actually, they're not even your belts. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You're out there trying to defend Tyson Fury's belts for $50 million. You're fraud. The dude is a fraud. And he's a fraud that can fight. I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance to win the fights, but he's a fraud. How else can you explain a guy that says sitting there smug, all kind of smug, asking for $50 million because he doesn't think somebody else has it? They show up with the money and all of a sudden it's not about the money. You don't want to fight, man. And if you don't want to fight the guy, just like Andre Ward said, if you don't want to fight the guy that everybody in the division is saying, or a whole country worth of people, or a lot of people think you can't beat, including Tyson Fury. Don't even go to the United States about people who don't think you can beat him. Tyson Fury says he knocks you out. Maybe Tyson Fury's not the only heavyweight in the United States, in the UK, that thinks Deontay Wilder knocked Anthony Joshua out. Maybe Anthony Joshua thinks that too, because that's how he's acting. And I'm out.